thank you for joining us on WOCA. We are going to be talking about real estate this morning, all of the fun things to do in Ocala and what is going on in our market here locally and also nationally. So joining me today is Ali Pena, and she is going to tell us what she does, why she likes it, and what you can expect. So Ali, go ahead and tell everyone what you do and who you are and how to get in touch with you.
Hello people, my name's Ali, like Andrea just introduced me, and I'm a real estate agent and property manager for Great Expectations Realty.
Okay, and so what property management, now, is that the love of your life? You've been doing it ever, you got into real estate because you wanted to do property management. How did you get into that niche market?
It's funny because first of all, I never thought I would be anywhere near real estate. Then I started working for a developer in new construction, and then now I am here in Ocala, and I love doing property management because I like working not only with owners but with tenants, having best of both worlds, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, you're very good at it. It was just a very natural thing for you to
I'm
transition
a customer
into.
service person.
You are very much so. The number one complaint nationally throughout all the United States, the number one complaint for realtors, not just property managers, but realtors as well, is a lack of communication. That's the number one complaint. And I've definitely seen that is not a problem for you. You are constantly communicating to make sure that they have all the information. So
yeah, I like to help people. That's honestly why I like real estate. Owners sometimes don't have all the information. Mm-hmm. And I like to be the one that they get that information from. Okay. And tenants also do not have all the information.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So what is it? What can somebody expect in property management? Because there's a big difference in property management versus property maintenance companies. So what is it a property manager does exactly?
So in property management, you are honestly in charge of all the assets of an owner. So keeping that house maintained, keeping all the rent and fees included. And when I talk about maintenance, I really mean even little things like chipping in the paint, or big issues as well, like if you need to install a new bathroom or something like that. Mm-hmm. You are in charge of taking care of that person's property.
That's a huge thing. It's more of an asset manager than anything, really. People don't think of it that way because it's so easily visible as the house. But yeah, it's more like asset management. So when you're doing maintenance on a house, when you go in and when you do an inspection or something and you see that there's maintenance that needs to be done, so do you do it yourself? Like, what exactly is involved with that?
So I am not a handy person.
Nobody wants to see me with a hammer either.
Nobody wants to see me painting or anything like that. Not to mention 410, I can't reach. So I get the best people available with the best service to provide that for the home. So whether it be painters, whether it be plumbers, whether it be electrician, I try to get you the best people who can give me really good estimates and do the job for that home.
So are these people that you know, and that, like, how do you find these people? Because I know a lot of people use something like Angie's List or something like that, and they randomly Google.
Well, I'm very fortunate to have an amazing broker who's already made amazing vendor relationships. So that's great. And also, I honestly interview vendors. I get them out there. I make them do quotes. I tell them, I look at their reviews. And even if I know somebody who's had work from them, I call them up and ask them, hey, how did you think so-and-so worked?
That's a great way of doing it. I think like being in property maintenance, property management, and all of that for so many years, yeah, you definitely know a lot of people in the area that are able to take care of certain things, and you know who's going to show up, who's going to do the job, and who's going to do it on time and for what they estimated it for, which is also another huge portion. So yeah, that's really big deal. So, but you have different stuff as far as your management portfolio, what you actually manage. You have an apartment complex, single family homes, and I think you even have a triplex in there as well, right?
Correct. I love that triplex.
You love that triplex.
I will always say it.
So you have that kind of an odd mix. You have single family, you have multifamily, and then you have the apartment complex is really multifamily. It's commercial multifamily.
Yes,
so
and
very
they're
different.
all different. So for example, even like lawn maintenance is completely different for an apartment building than it is for homes. I mean, it's a lot more land, a lot more taken care of, individual buildings.
Right. And then that's like common area maintenance.
Correct.
It's shared area with the apartment complex, whereas single family, it's normally the tenant that does that.
Correct.
Normally.
Yeah.
Say normally because every situation is different in property management.
Correct. I mean, you could have a home like in a community with an HOA, and then the HOA itself has like a lawn person do everything, and it's just a fee. So it just depends.
It just depends. Okay. So what do you prefer? Houses that are in an HOA for rentals or out of an HOA?
It's funny. I like them both.
Really?
Yes,
That's
I
surprising.
like them both. I actually love having houses over there at the Villages. They're so nice. Their customer service is so nice that I actually love working with them.
Wow.
So it
that's
honestly
great.
depends on the HOA.
So you actually, I forgot that you actually have houses down in the Villages that you manage.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many that actually manage property manage down in the Villages. So it's
not here, definitely.
So that's interesting. People now have you as an option down there as well. So, and you've really just done great with the rentals down there. So that's great.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what other things aside from maintenance and repairs, what other stuff do you do in your property management job?
So a lot of things that people forget about is rent collection and fee collection. Fee collection is pretty much, let's say somebody's late for the rent, right? And are you going to charge per day that late fee? What if there is an NSF fee? So a bank goes in, can't get funds out, you get charged with an NSF fee. You have owners wondering where their money is.
That's actually something we've seen more. I mean, you don't see it as much as I do because I see all the bookkeeping that our bookkeeper, Miss Teresa, actually turns over. But
Shout out to her. She's amazing.
She is.
And she makes my life so much easier.
Yours. Oh. I can't even imagine getting into QuickBooks. QuickBooks and I do not get along. I'm very, very happy that she loves QuickBooks and she speaks QuickBooks because it is its own language.
She's so organized.
She is. She's super organized. So we love Teresa. Miss Teresa's awesome. But yeah, when it's no, I forgot where I was going. NSFs, thank you. So yeah, so we are seeing a lot more NSFs with the advent of direct deposit and ACH payments and stuff like that, because all of our tenants and all of our owners,
they all pay on the portal.
They all pay on the portal. So especially for those that have set up automatic withdrawals from their accounts, sometimes they're just not quite on top of that, or sometimes something happens or whatever, and then we'll see that NSF at the beginning of the month. Maybe sometimes they switch bank accounts too, so there's stuff that happens with that too. So it's very tricky once you get into all of that ACH stuff, but Teresa keeps on top of it pretty good for us and our owners. So, all right, so what else do you have in there besides the rent collection and fee collections and stuff?
So talking about organization, and you say this in every property management meeting, it is documentation. Having all your ducks in a row is amazing. If you have problems with tenants that may lead to an eviction or anything like that, you definitely want all your documents to reflect everything that's happened.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of that, we have a property management meeting every single Monday. It seems like Mondays are the days where everything from the weekend just kind of like, all right, let's just get it all taken care of Monday morning, because you guys are going to be taking care of this stuff anyway. Let's sit down and communicate and cooperate and see what we can do with all of this. And it makes it so that nothing falls through the cracks. At least it feels that way. So that definitely is a huge thing for our company, to have that communication even amongst ourselves. And if we need like Teresa to step into a meeting or something, she can do that. And maybe we need the property management assistants to step in and do something else or follow up with something. It's really a huge thing.
We have great property managers besides myself. Like, they're such a great team. I love working with them.
They are a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting group of people where they're very into their paperwork. It's just crazy.
And also just very good people in the sense that they care about people. They care about owners, they care about tenants, they care about their coworkers. That says it all.
That is one of the things property managers are known to struggle with, is that they forget who they work for, because they take money from the tenants every month and they get to know the tenants and they see the tenants on inspections. Maybe they've never even met physically in person the owner. So they kind of develop a relationship with the tenant, and they kind of forget that they actually have the contract and the relationship with the owner. That's who they're actually working for. Of course, everybody wants to take care of the public, but it's weird when they have that relationship with them, and some even forget that there is an owner, and they kind of have an ownership. They feel like they have an ownership of that house. Yeah, and that's very dangerous waters.
Yeah.
That's very, very dangerous waters.
Not your house.
not your house. 99% of the time, I'm quite grateful. It is not my house.
Same.
Not. But yeah, that is definitely something I've seen over the years where they just kind of forget that part, that it is a job, it is a role, it is a contract position. And that can be taken away if they make decisions that they really don't have the right making. So kind of interesting when it gets into that kind of stuff. But I've not seen that from you guys.
Funny you mentioned that, because I do try to build a relationship with every single owner that I get. Even if they are very hands-off owners, I still even want them to know what I'm doing.
Right.
Because again, I'm pretty much in charge of all their assets. That house is a massive asset.
It's huge. It might be one of their largest assets.
Yeah, for some people it's actually
responsible.
massive. Yeah.
So which do you prefer? The owners that are more hands-off and just say, Allie, just take care of it, I trust you, or the ones that really want to help and they really want to be a part of the process?
I like both. It's two different experiences. One of them is hands-off, is just me. So that's not really an experience with somebody, but it is an experience for me.
Yeah, there's no relationship that
Correct.
you really get from that.
But when they are hands-on, it's fun because I get to introduce them to a lot of different ideas and topics and things like that. For example, at the apartments, I can introduce little ideas, even if it's like putting a fence up around the AC so that the ducts stay clean.
Okay, so yeah.
Even little things like that.
Yeah, so it's just using your expertise and,
Yeah.
probably have a little more
It's like a
appreciation
challenge.
for it. Yeah, a little more challenging. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so what other stuff do you do in the week? I say in the week because it is like a daily, weekly thing. So what other stuff do you bring to the
So of course I have inspections, and I usually have like a couple a week just because of how many properties it is, and I try to do 2 inspections a year minimum. I'm very happy with the relationship I have with the tenants because some of them even just invite me in.
Just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, just come inside the house.
Check out my living room.
Exactly. So that's also part of my job, is keeping and maintaining and making sure that the tenants are taking care of that property.
That's a huge part of it.
Because again, it's not the tenant's house, it is the owner's home.
Yes, absolutely. So when you have those inspections, you said you do 2 a year. What's the ideal time frame for you? Because I know there's a lot of owners out there they've reached out to me over the years and they'll be like, yeah, I've never done an inspection. I'm like never? Like never ever? What am I going to be walking into now? So like, how you do 2 per year. So like how often?
So I usually do my first one after around 5 months of the tenant living there, so I can get a good idea of how they are living for those 5 months. And then I'll go ahead and then do my second one right before, I say like around like 3 months before their renewal offer, if they have a renewal offer.
Okay. So you know basically not only how they're living when they moved in and after all the boxes are cleared out, because sometimes that takes quite a while to do, but also
my final inspection.
to see how it's going, and then of course each year wash, rinse, repeat, as my husband says.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah, recycle. All right. So what else is it that you do?
So with tenants, of course, come tenant complaints, and as you said, I have different properties, so they all look different. Tenant complaints can be even like a broken toilet, or for example, in apartments you have like more neighbor complaints.
It's probably different between the single family homes versus the apartment.
Totally, completely different. I mean, neighbors can complain about each other even. You never know.
What do you do? Like, what can you do?
You try to resolve the issue in the best way possible, which is in writing.
Well, yes, we like in writing, everything in writing.
And you go back to your legal document. So as a property manager, I have a legal document, which is that lease. Yeah. What is in that lease? If it says, if you're in for example, the apartments, there's no assigned parking. So the lease says no assigned parking. You can't really fight over a parking spot.
Well, they can. They actually can. They're not supposed to. They have no legal grounds,
Correct.
But they can fight. From what I've seen from human nature, they can fight over anything.
Yeah.
Whether that's actually have any grounds to it or not so much. But
so if they do break that legal document, which is their lease, they will have either, you know, a 3-day notice for no rent payment, or a 7-day notice, which is not so fun.
No, 7-day notices are definitely not fun, because that means they've done something that they need to rectify, and they have 7 days to fix whatever
Back to paperwork.
that is. Yeah, back to paperwork, yes. So, all right, so what else have you got on there?
So, like I said before, finding vendors is also great, but also finding the right tenants is also...
Oh, that's huge.
Yes. So, want to prevent having to do 3-day notices or 7-day notices by finding the right tenant.
Right.
If you find the right qualified tenant, it's great. And we have a great screening service. We use a third-party screening service that also screens our pets, which is amazing.
Yeah, huge shout out to that company. I do want to do a shout out for them, because they've been just absolutely amazing for us. It's called petscreening.com. So if you are actually a landlord, or if you're self-managing or whatever, I cannot even tell you how wonderful a tool this is, not only for the landlord but also for the tenants, because there's a lot of landlords. I mean, we struggled for years trying to keep up with all of the changes on service animals and ESAs and what you need and what you can ask, and it is
Breed
a
restrictions.
huge issue. So to have a company that's their sole purpose is to keep up with that, is just wonderful. So and it's actually no cost to the landlord, which is really great. So I cannot understand why everybody in the country doesn't use this service. But they will actually, they know exactly what they can ask and what they can't ask, and what documentation is required, and make sure that it's actual legal documentation, because there's a lot of fraudulent stuff going online. They'll check the vaccinations. And what's huge to me is they actually will still screen people that do not have pets, and they have them sign an affidavit saying they will not have pets without going through an approval process first. And I think that's massive.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, sneaking in maybe, a few pit bulls or Rottweilers is something that a lot of landlords will definitely say they've been surprised by. So if you're going and doing an inspection, and all of a sudden it's on the records, there's no pet, and then all of a sudden you're going into a home with a very large dog that is...
You don't know that.
Yeah.
It's very important for us to know.
It's not good.
Who's in the house, what's in the house, you know.
Like German Shepherds are very, very protective of their home.
Yeah.
Great breed.
And they're just doing their job,
Yeah, they are, absolutely.
They don't know you.
Absolutely, but it can prove, actually very dangerous too.
Let's say there's like a quick plumbing issue that you have to go inside the house, the tenants are at work, you don't know that there's a German Shepherd in there, you grab your key, you go inside.
Yeah.
Very bad situation.
There have been times where I got a phone call saying, hey, there's nobody home, but there's water pouring out the front door. Yeah, we're going to go take care of that. Not just for the home and the owner, but also for the tenant's possessions as well. Mm-hmm. If we can't get a hold of the tenant, we have to go in and fix the situation.
Or if the tenant can't get home in time.
Yeah, there's that too. So
could be on vacation.
Yeah, there's definitely that. That's true. So, all right, so what else you got? What other things
So
do you
I've answered a lot of questions, but I do have a question for the owners out there, and is, do you know what is your house market value at for renting?
What do you mean?
So is your house up to market
rent value?
Rent value, sorry.
Okay, so like what is a 3.2 going for these days?
So let's say in a basic community, 3.2 is $1,600. So
$1,600 a month.
Yeah.
Wow. And you say basic community, that's like not an HOA,
that's like no
amenities kind of thing.
That's like a 1-car garage, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home.
One car? Community. You don't even get a double car with that?
No. Oh, sorry.
Wow. Okay, $1,600 a month is our average price right now for a 3.2. Wow. Okay. Well, Ocala is moving up in the world apparently. So.
And let's say that your whole community is at around that market, and you are at $1,300.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely something we're seeing lately.
A lot of owners don't know.
Yeah. Well, I have seen actually a lot of, especially when they're doing it themselves, they'll come in and they haven't raised it, and then their property taxes, especially the property taxes, those went up. Their insurance, and their maintenance, even like just supplies for maintenance have gone up astronomically. So the vendors and stuff for maintenance and stuff has gone up.
It's gone up. And their labor has gone up.
Yeah. So then they come to us and they're like, well, we're going to need to raise it like $600 or $700 all at once on this tenant. And they're like, can you do that? And we're like, well, yeah, but why didn't you do incremental every year they were there instead of just...
I mean, it could be a tenant living there for like
Yeah.
5-7 years.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. The tenants were like, oh yeah, I've got a great deal. But then it comes to an end and then they're just like so shocked, and you know, it's not good because they hadn't planned for that to happen. But they're out of lease. So, you know,
And then they're out looking in a very high market.
yes, yeah, it's not good. So if you are a tenant out there and you're like, I have gotten the deal of the century, trust me, at some point that can end. So prepare for that ahead of time. Because when you purchase a home and you have a fixed rate mortgage, you know exactly what your payment's going to be for the next 30 years. When you are renting, it can change at any point. So just be aware of that. And for the owners that don't want to be the one to raise the rent, it is still a kindness. I think it's a kindness, really, to a slow incremental increase as opposed to a large, huge.
Here's like $200 more on the rent.
Yeah, that's a little tough for anybody to budget into when they weren't expecting it. Or sometimes even more so is when the owners are like, I'm just not making any money on this, so I'm going to sell. I'm not even going to offer a renewal to these tenants. They just have to get out. And they can do that.
Some can be very nice, but then realize that they lost so much money, and then it's a great opportunity to sell their home. So what do? They sell their home.
Right. I mean, yeah. It makes sense. It's their home and everything. But then what about those tenants? They can have as little as 15 days to move out, right?
Yeah. We usually do not do 15 days.
I was like, how do I ask her that nicely?
We usually don't do 15 days. We give more notice.
Has to be a pretty extreme situation or circumstance to only do a 15-day notice.
Can you imagine a self-managed owner getting pretty much an offer? I mean, there's offers going out in the mail every day for people.
Yeah, they may not even be thinking to sell, and all of a sudden someone's like, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of money for this house because I need it. And all of a sudden...
It actually happens.
They're like, yeah, this tenant's out of lease. I'll just go ahead and tell them to move out. Couple weeks notice and we're good to go. And it's like, oh man, does that put the tenant in a situation? It's a serious situation. So yeah, so if any of that, if you're not sure what the market rent should be, or if you're not really sure if you should increase it or can increase it, maybe give Allie a call. Allie, what is your phone number again, please?
So my cell phone number is 786-515-7640. And you can also reach me on my email. It's ally.floridarealtor@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So if you have any questions for Allie, go ahead and get in touch with her. You can also call our office. It's 352-817-9160. We are going to be right back after this quick message. But again, wanted to say thank you so much for coming in here today. And we're back. I just wanted to say a real quick thank you for joining us again. We're going to talk about what is going on in our Market Watch portion. This is in the last 7 days in Marion County, Florida. This is how all residential properties. We don't have any commercial or rentals or anything like that in here. Just residential. In the last 7 days, we had 260 new listings hit the market. So quite a few are coming on the market right now. We had 46 price increases, which is a pretty healthy number. We've been in the 20s lately. But price decreases are still super, super high at 316. So way more houses are decreasing their price as opposed to actual properties even coming on the market. So 316 is pretty high. Back on the market, we had 71. And I will have to say, I have actually on my own listings been struggling with this a little bit. The buyers are not quite as, I don't know, as sure, I guess, on the houses. We had one that went under contract, for example, and just a short time later, he said, you know what, I haven't even done the inspection yet, but never mind. I think I've decided on Texas as opposed to Florida. Really? You couldn't have thought of that before we went through this? So we're just kind of seeing, maybe not quite sure with the buyers right now. A lot of things are coming back on the market. So kind of interesting stuff going on out there. Now sold, we have 183. That's actually closed. Somebody got the keys, somebody got the money, and everybody's happy. Expired, we had 15. Pending, 291. So people are definitely still purchasing houses. In fact, more houses went pending than came on the market. So that's good news. temporarily off the market as they do repairs or take care of something personally or whatever. Temporarily off the market, we had 12, so not too many of those. Withdrawn, we had 6, and canceled, we had 45. That's quite high, actually. 45 cancellations in Marion County this week. And again, that is just the last 7 days here in Marion County, Florida. Now, as far as the national average interest rate on a 30-year fixed conventional mortgage, as of March 15th, we had 7.125 is the national average. Then we had for our 15-year fixed, which is the one I've definitely been promoting and talking about quite a bit to see if you qualify. Not everybody qualifies and not everybody wants to pay that much per month, but it can save you tens of thousands and in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's definitely something to at least look into. But a 15-year fixed is actually only at 6.1% national average for our interest rate. So just some information for you there. All right, we are going to take one more really quick, super quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about all the things that there is to do for fun this weekend here in Marion County. Stay tuned for that. And welcome back. All right, we are going to be talking about what fun stuff there is to do both Saturday and Sunday here in Ocala, Florida. So we have March 18th, which is today. We have from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Appleton Museum has some hands-on activities for all ages to help better understand the world of art. So that is actually something that you might be interested in doing. Adults and children can participate. It's only $10 for adults, which basically covers their supplies. And then ages 6 to 7, it's $5. 5 and younger are free. So feel free to stop into the Appleton and check out those activities. Rainbow Springs Art Festival is going on. Absolutely amazing event. Love going to this each year. So it's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. as well. That is in Denellen, right downtown, I believe. So it says it's in Rainbow Springs. Last year it was right downtown Denellen, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of signage out there. So take a look for that. They have arts and they have crafts and they have entertainment. They've got music. They're going to have classic cars. They've got food trucks, and lots of fun. Last year, my daughter and I picked out some earrings, and they are still, to this day, still some of my favorite earrings. And it was really wonderful experience picking out some earrings together. So that was really nice. She is definitely the fashion icon at our house, that's for sure. All right, we also have Carson Springs Wildlife Walk or ride. That's a morning tour that starts at 10 a.m. to noon. So hopefully you are going to go on down there for that. If not, you can check with Carson Springs Wildlife Conservation Foundation to see if they have more walk or ride tours and when you can participate in that. But it's a great outdoor fun for the whole family. This is actually guided by a professional zoologist, and you can actually witness big cat feeding demonstrations and other things that are included in the tour. So you can actually get pretty close, up close and comfortable with the animals. So this is a great opportunity, especially if you have an animal lover in your house, is take them down for that. So check into Carson Springs Wildlife. On Sunday, we have from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. over at the Ocala Downtown Market, we have the Ocala Oddities Market. This is all the stuff that is just a little bit odd, just a little bit out there, maybe some strange. That is going on Sunday. It is free to go to. There are many vendors that come to this. They've got antiques, taxidermy, bug art, bone art, vintage clothing, and so much more. Basically, everything you wouldn't technically see normally in a regular farmer's market or in a regular market. It's all the oddities. Maybe you want to go and check that out. This week over at Marion Theater, they are playing Mulan. So if you want to check that out, they actually have a showing at 1:30 on Sunday. So please feel free to stop out there. If you want to go to the Raleigh Theater on the 24th, again, this is the 24th, not today, not tomorrow, 24th. The comedian Rob Magnotti, I hope I'm saying that right, Magnotti, he is actually going to be playing from 7:30 p.m. So if you want to get some tickets for that, I believe there are still tickets available. Don't hate me if they're sold out already, but check into that. And then on the 25th, we have the Homebuyer Workshop here at our office. we try to hold these monthly, and this one is actually going to be different. This one is actually going to be doing virtual. So if you want to register for that, you can go ahead and contact our office. We will get your information. We will go ahead and make sure that you have the access code to join us for that. But we are doing a home buyer workshop, and it will be virtual. So if you are wanting to know all the steps to home ownership, and we've noticed that some people are a bit shy about asking questions or showing up in person, or maybe they're just busy. It's not to be intimidated. There is no scary answers. There's no judgment. We definitely just want to help you on the way to getting a mortgage, getting a home of your own, finding out the steps, finding out what you need to do to qualify. All of those things. Once you actually go shopping for a house, what happens next? Walking through those steps is huge. It seems like a very huge and overwhelming task, but don't worry. We do this every day. We've got you. We can definitely help you out with that. And even if you are not ready now, maybe you're not even ready a year from now, we're still going to help you. We're still going to walk with you every step of the way, and we're going to take your hand and say, here's what you need to do. So even if you are not ready right now, do not worry. There is no judgment. We have all done some crazy stuff to our credit, or maybe we've got, job situations. Maybe you have a 1099, or maybe you need to go through bank statement qualification. There's a lot of different programs out there for you might not know about. So maybe you just need to ask some questions. Maybe you need some down payment assistance. Man, that first-time home buyer, the Hometown Heroes, absolutely amazing program. And I hear that they are actually increasing it, or at least they're trying to. So that's really good news as well. And that even applies for veterans. I don't know if you knew that or not, but you can actually purchase a home with zero down payment using a VA loan program, and you can use the Hometown Heroes for your closing costs. So you may actually be able to walk right into your home, not bringing anything to the table. And that is a service to our veterans. So really interesting stuff going on. Really great news as far as helping first-time home buyers actually get into their home of their dreams. So if you do have any questions or anything, that might be a really great opportunity, especially if you want to do it a little more anonymously and do it online. This one will be a virtual home buyer workshop. So we're really excited to be able to offer that to you. So please feel free to register to that. You can call our office. It's 352-817-9160. And that is going to be on March 25th from noon to 2. So we'll look forward to seeing you on there, or maybe not seeing you, but at least you'll be joining us on there. That's it for us. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, or if you would just have some suggestions or some questions for our next show, please go ahead and contact us. You can call us again at 352-817-9160, or you can send us an email. Email address is GER, it's Great Expectations Realty, GER.ExpectMore@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Shake it up, stop when the clock hits 13. Sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.